How you doing? I'm James, and I am going to talk to you today. With this project with Megachem, we have found a novel way of making new building blocks that can be used in organic synthesis, such as drug synthesis. The good thing about our building blocks is that they are non-chemically pure. As you may know, a lot of biological molecules depend on the shape, like how the mirror images, like this hand is different from this hand, for example. And we have found a way to come up with high purity, just one of these enantiomers. And I'll take you through now how we're going to make that into a business opportunity. The antibiotic market is very, very big. Pharmaceutical markets are. Vancomycin by itself is worth around $100 million a year. That's 30 tons shipped per annum at around $4 a gram. Your average adult dose is around 2 to 3 grams a day. Demand is increasing on 3 to 4% every year because we have an increase in rates of diseases like MRSA, which are really where vancomycin really comes into itself as a drug. However, because of the problems with rapid resistance, as we talked about earlier, you actually see sales of vancomycin falling at around 4% every year. So this leaves a huge hole to be exploited by whoever comes up with a new drug of last resort. There's a huge demand for it, and vancomycin just cannot give the antimicrobial activity it was once able to do.
Can you just summarise the financials for me? You are proposing to spend about £2 or £3 million.
In our original capital, yes.
Okay, and you then hope to have access to a market that, for the finished product,
yes,
is worth around 100 million plus,
yes,
possibly growing. How much value do you think you'll get from selling these interesting intermediates, assuming that the various derivatives of the lunacridine pass their clinical trials? How much value do you think you can get? In other words, if you're asking us to spend $2 million, what are we going to get back and when?
It all depends on how much of this market we can dominate, and how quickly microbes become resistant to lunacridine, if they do. It also depends on whether it finds uses in anti-cancer drug as well. In that business plan, we also have us paying for PhD researchers. They'll be looking at new precursors that we'll be using. We also have reasonable amount of sales staff. I would say hopefully upwards of, I would hope with 2 large companies we would be able to, if we were able to get contracts with even just one of those companies, we would be able to have a return of maybe upwards of 10 billion a year.
Are there any parts in that plan where we'd be able to do a review and say, we're just going to bin this? This is not going to work out. And that means that you're not going to have to spend all this money for years and years.
Yeah, there were a few gates. Probably the biggest one is just trying to gain interest in the field, in the market. If there is no interest, for example, because all these companies already have the apparatus and the lab space set aside to do these syntheses and these separations and everything, maybe they won't be interested in that, and that is one area where we can just scrap it right there.
Where do the clinical trials run in parallel with this?
I don't think we are running them. I don't think we are responsible for running them because we are not synthesizing the
That's
drug
okay.
themselves.
I appreciate that you're not actually running the clinical trials, but there is a risk associated with them, which might be a stage gate as well.
Yeah, that. I don't know. No, it wouldn't be there because there will be lunacridine kicking about. The trials would probably run in parallel with 2 and 3,
okay,
if not before them.
So before you build a full-scale plant, you'll have some idea of
Yes.
whether it works as a drug or not. That would be good.
Can I ask each of you whether, if you had the money, would you invest in this project? there's a need for a new last resort antibiotic, and I think because this is the only one that's been developed in a while, and I guess it would make money.
So there's an opportunity. There's an opportunity. Good.
Clinical trials is a big one. I mean, if it doesn't work, then what's the point of investing it? But then you can also sell your building blocks. I mean, lunacridine is one drug. There's so many other drugs that could be made from those. So I think it's definitely something worth investing into.
And today we're going to talk about how we can use the biomass waste to make beneficial fuels. First of all, we're going to talk about our new technology. As we all know, wood and paper industries have as waste lignin, which through a multiply step we can convert it to something that's very useful. Compounds that have high calorific value and can be used as fuel.
So what we're going to do is we're going to use waste from wood manufacturers.
So you're not going to plant trees?
So no, we're going to take the waste from them, because a lot of the waste actually goes to refuse sites. So we can actually buy this waste off of them at quite a low price, and then convert this into a usable fuel.
They might even pay you to take it away.
They might even pay us to take it away, yeah. That would be good.
In our plans, we will first seed our fund, and then we can start our test. At the same time, we should do some market research to support our manufacturing.
Okay, so as you've seen from the plan, there's a number of milestones that we have to reach, and one of them, the first one, is to generate funding. So this is to enable us to carry out tests and then set up manufacturing. So, so once we've done that, we'd approach the market and establish orders, and from there, depending on how many orders we generate, we'd scale up the processing plants and expand it, so then we can actually produce a lot more of this fuel. And another thing is that we would establish the brand. So places like Esso and other fuel companies, they have a brand name, and that's something that we're going to expand on as well.
What caused you to just put down potential risk to damage aircraft engines? Because if I've understood your presentation correctly, it's a fuel which is applicable to engines in general.
Because we are doing a lignin processing, so this is about this. But for biofuels, there are many concerns like from ethanol produced from corn. So the competitors are too many.
The fuel companies have other components in their fuel as well to protect against
biodiesel. Biodiesel exists now,
and
is in fact added to commercial fuel for, I forget what the proper name is, internal combustion engines, I think is the correct phrase, for cars. So you've got a model there which might suit your process before you reach the testing of aircraft engines, where the outcome is rather more catastrophic if it goes wrong.
Yep. Yep.
This is a project with very strong ethical implications. But this is actually quite an inspirational project, I would say. That you, well, in fact, you've just said it's an inspirational project. You feel like you're actually contributing something.